Hey guys, how you doing? Right here again. If you'd like to subscribe, it's Nitro Kyosho. Well guys, I've got two wallpaper videos out. One has been very successful. It's about almost 500,000 views. I just put it out as a whim when I was doing a wallpaper job in the house. And I'm just here to show you this product here that I use, tell you a little bit of information, and hopefully help out some of the older viewers that are homeowners and struggling with this kind of stuff. Well, my dad was a wallpaper and painter his whole life. He taught me the whole trade, so I feel I'm probably at an expert level of taking wallpaper down. I don't do it as a living, but I do know how to do it, and just about could get any paper off the wall. Now, my dad always used to say that a steamer was your last line of defense. If all else failed, that's what you went with. Most wallpapers, you don't need a steamer. But for the price of this and what it did, I'll get into that right now. We had just about every room in the house, almost. We had a kitchen with wallpaper, a bathroom, a living room, dining room, an entire hall up and down, and one bedroom upstairs. I've removed the paper from the up and down hall, the bathroom, the kitchen, the dining room, and the living room, and I can tell you they were all different. And that's one of the biggest questions I get asked on my other wallpaper videos is, how do you get the paper down? So let me talk about this, and then I'll give you some tips, and hopefully you'll feel that you're at a comfortable level to attempt any kind of paper. So we had a dining room that was absolutely horrible. It would not come off the wall. We sprayed it, we used hot water, we did this, we did that, we scored it, scraped it. So we went to Taylor Rental and rented a $1,000 wallpaper remover, steamer, and it was about $40 for the day. Well, we did as much as we could. We ran out of time. We had a little bit left, and I had to take it back. And I said, well, you know what? I don't want to rent it again. I'm going to go check out what Home Depot has. So I saw this. Wagner's always been a pretty decent name. I saw this. It was $50. It's the Power Steamer 705. And I said, why not give it a shot? Well, we only had a little bit left in the room. Most of the major was done, but we did have enough that, it turned out being about 5 hours left. So I bought this, and to my amazement, guys, I got to take my hat off to this. I got to give it 2 thumbs up. This thing worked just as good, if not better, than the $1,000 one I rented. Now, you're going to say that sounds crazy, but the $1,000 one is going to give you the longevity. It's for, a guy that's doing it every day and day after day and all that. It was made better with the rubber hose and the big aluminum or metal casing and everything. So, but this worked just as good, and in some cases better, because the plate they give you actually sealed right up against the wall and kept all the steam in, and it worked good. So let me talk a little bit about this. This is the Power Steamer 705. It's a plastic unit. You take it out of the box, it looks like something you'd find in your kid's toy chest. It's all plastic, but the thing works. You're going to be amazed. They give you 2 different sizes here for the smaller areas, and then you can actually just use the end of the hose when you're doing like crevice areas between door frames and walls. So this is the large plate. It's 8 by 11. Okay, and the smaller one they're saying is 3 by 6. We didn't have to really move this thing around the room because it has an 11-foot hose here. Alright, as you can see. And it just plugs right into the end here. They give you a nice set of directions. Not really a whole lot to know, guys. There's no on-off switch. You fill it up to the max line where they tell you. If you use hot water, it'll heat up within about 5 minutes. If you use cold water, you're probably going to wait a while. So you get hot water out of out of the tap. You don't want to boil water and put it in here. Just whatever comes out of your faucet, the hottest you can get it, will definitely speed up the time. And then you just hook it up and you just leave it there and you wait for the thing to start putting steam. When it starts putting steam, initially it'll start dripping. And what I do is I just drip it into a bucket and wait, and then it just turns to complete steam. And then you don't really have too much drippage after that. So pretty nice unit. There's just a couple little things that, if you're going to use it, it'll run for about 75 minutes, and we found that to be very true. It actually seemed like it went for longer than that. But they tell you to let it cool down a little bit before you refill it. I didn't, because I just took the top off and I filled it back up with hot water again, and then it started producing steam within a couple of minutes. But they're probably more or less talking if you're going to put ice cold water in on the element, you could damage it. But for $50, I'm telling you guys, this thing worked exactly. I think it worked better than the $1,000 one that we rented. And like I said, there's no on-off switch. It's a simple setup, and it works. And you obviously drain your water out when you're done with it and all that kind of stuff. But let me give you some tips now about wallpaper. There's different kinds of paper. They all come off in different ways. And I've already got 2 videos out, one showing you how I did one and one explaining all the different methods. So I don't want to get into too much, but I'm going to give you some tips. First thing you have to do, the very first thing you have to do, is find out what kind of paper you're dealing with. So what do? You go to an inconspicuous spot of the room, behind a bed, behind a dresser, behind a door, somewhere where you can try to rip the paper off and see what you got. Now, when we did our hallway, that was the genuine, true strippable, where you just take it from the top and just start coming down with it. No scoring, no chemicals, no steamer, no scrapers, just comes right off the wall. That was the simplest one. That was a true strippable. The kitchen, took the first layer, came off, peeling it, left the brown layer behind. The brown layer behind, we had to, no scoring, just wet it with a hot bottle of water, spray it. It soaks it in. It soaks into that backing paper, guys. It does not soak into the sheetrock. If you're concerned, if you have non-painted sheetrock, it will not soak into the sheetrock. Not unless you take a garden hose to it. So then, after that's wet, you can just peel that paper off, and then you go back and you do your priming and your painting, and you go from there. Now, the living room paper was similar to the kitchen, except you took a piece and it chipped off. Another piece and it broke. Would not hold together. In that case, Home Depot, Husky, 4-inch razor blade scrapers. There's not one in here right now, but you just put them in, unscrew this, pop them in there. You got a tail stock where you can store the other blades. This was a lifesaver. This is what we used in our living room. Had to scrape all the top paper off, and then go back with all the backing paper and take that off. Now that one, the steamer probably would have helped more or less, but the paper just wasn't holding together, and that was the problem with that. I don't even know if the steamer would have done anything to keep it together. The bathroom was kind of a problem. It was kind of similar to the living room because it was hot and cold, steam in there activated the glue over time. That was similar to the living room, and then the dining room was the absolute worst. That one just was stuck to the wall. You couldn't scrape it, you couldn't putty knife it, you couldn't use this, it was just stuck there. And that's when my dad said, go get a steamer. That was the last line of defense. And it still took us many, many hours. I would say it took us about 14 to 15 hours to get the room done, start to finish. with a steamer. So most of the time, guys, I mean, they're all different. If you have to determine what you're dealing with to figure out how you're going to remove it. Then you get the people that ask me a lot of times, well, I got multiple papers. Well, if you got multiple on top of multiple, you gotta get it off one layer at a time or scrape it. Scoring it is tough because usually the scoring tools are not going to go through that many sheets of paper. So if you can get one layer off and the next layer and the next layer. But I'm going to stop here because, like I said, I have a video explaining a lot of this, and I have two out already. And I'm going to have a video out of this thing actually working, so look for that. But I don't want to tie you guys up any longer. I know guys don't like to sit here and watch long videos. So check the other two videos out. Check these two are going to be uploaded. And if you have any questions, get in touch with me and I'll be sure to try to answer you. But like I said, the key is, number one key is determine what you got. And then the second step is figuring out what the best plan of attack is. Okay? So this thing, guys, for $50 was absolutely phenomenal. If you're dealing with wallpaper, definitely pick this up. Wagner 705 steamer. I think they have another model too, but you don't need it. This thing did the job. The other one had different attachments for like doing car engines and different stuff. But I was shocked. I mean, you take it out and it's plastic and it's got a handle and just doesn't look like a whole lot of anything, but what do you really need? You need a hot element. Gets over 200 degrees and it did the job. That's all I can tell you about it, So check it out, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you out a little bit. And I'll show you a video of this thing running. Thanks for watching.